Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Booking the Territory, the unprofessional wrestling podcast, where today we are covering WCW Saturday Night on TBS from July 13th of 1991. This is the Merry Christmas episode of BTT this week. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're celebrating or not celebrating, we hope you have a wonderful December 25th. I'm always reminded by a former coworker I had, Doc, who didn't celebrate Christmas, and this lady walks into work, and another coworker, and says, "Hey, such and such, how was your Christmas?" And he goes, "My December 25th was great." And she was like, "Oh, okay." Anyway, that's why I say that. So whatever holiday you're celebrating or not, and again, if you're not celebrating a holiday, happy 25th. Doc, we're getting towards the end of the year. We're not getting any younger. How you doing, man?
Ho, ho, ho. Living the cream dream.
What?
What?
The cream dream?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm cool.
Don't
Enlighten
worry.
me, oh great one.
Nah, it's just.
Oh, are you talking about that tweet, the Lumi tweet?
No, we need to talk about that in a minute. Hey, here's my thing. I need everybody to understand something. You know, we talk a lot about people relaxing. There's no war on Christmas.
Reliefing.
There's no war on Christmas.
That doesn't fit the narrative of the world today, Doc.
People like Christmas, man. People on both sides of the aisle like Christmas. If you don't like Christmas, that's okay too. Like Mike said, enjoy your day off, hopefully, and let's just keep going with our lives. You know, if somebody says Happy Holidays, Seasons Greetings, Merry Christmas, Kick-Ass Kwanzaa, whatever it is, man, I don't care. Why does that bother me? It doesn't. I'm gonna be off for like 2 weeks from work.
You can't wait.
Where's the problem?
Oh man, there's no problem, man. I was just having fun at the beginning of the show.
I'm about to hit up the liquor store and get all stocked up and just rip it, dude. Rip it raw.
I bet you are.
Yeah. Can you imagine how loaded I'm gonna be at the Christmas service at the church for the kids show because it's in the middle of the Cowboy game?
Oh, very. That's nice. Going to church, getting drunk. Great.
No, I'm not going to church and getting drunk. I'm gonna be drunk when I get to church.
No, I mean, okay. Already drunk when you walk in the Lord's house. Good job. Good job.
There you go.
It's a way to show respect to the man upstairs.
On his birthday.
On his birthday of all. His birthday's the next day. No, he doesn't want you to bring the liquor to celebrate for his birthday, okay?
He turned water into wine. What's up?
He just because he turned water into wine doesn't mean he wants you to get drunk off the wine. He just wants you to relax and chill out.
If any human had that as their bullet point on their resume, you would consider them to be a fun guy in a party. But all of a sudden, we can't think about that because it's Jesus? Come on.
I'm going to piss people off. I think it was Cedric the Entertainer that said it. He said, "Man, you can't tell me Jesus wasn't a black man." And he was like, "You know how I know? He turned water into wine." He was like, "Y'all go on to keep the party going."
There you go. Why do you need Jesus to be the same? Why do you need Jesus to be the same color as you?
Man. It was so funny. God. Well, before we get too far down the road, I just want to mention a couple of quick things, and then I'll throw it to you for some more flips and dives, if you have any. Special shout out to our largest patron contributors monthly. Disrespectfully Classy, Marky Blassie, Mike Childry, Joe Ice, good old Justin. Thank you for your generous support on Patreon each and every month. Doc and I are recording this several weeks ahead of when it will air, just for scheduling reasons and trying to get some stuff done as we are.
Well, here's the main reason. We're doing this mainly so that we can time it out on the schedule such that the superstar, everybody's favorite host, Hard Buddy Harper, can join us for the Great American Bash over on the patron feed. And so if you're not a patron, that right there is a great reason to become one.
That's right. And you can become one like Jack W. did about a week or two ago, who joined the BTT Hall of Fame. You can become one by going to tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Not only do you get access to the three of us, Harper's not here, but the three of us doing the Bash pay-per-view, but we just wrapped up the season review of Tales from the Territories, and we did probably the longest episode yet. We did Mid-South, so that is also available with also 10 other recaps and reviews and discussions about Vice's Tales from the Territories at the end of 2022 as we're starting to close out the year. So you can get all that, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Plus you get all the Clash reviews, the World Clash shows, the ECW shows, the NWA Power shows with the Sparks and a Little Fella Half Pint, an ECW show with JV and Mike Prue. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Doc, do you want to get into the work that we witnessed last night again? Because nobody books the territory like Uncle Raj, or where do you want to go next? Because that was a work. I'm sorry. I don't know how you slice it any other way.
I don't disagree with you that it's a work. In fact,
I'm kidding.
Wholeheartedly agree with you that we got worked. First of all, the biggest work is that we sat around for 3 hours to get worked.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's the biggest work, is that I sat through the bullshit and the nonsense just to get worked at the end. Now, so here's the deal. For those of you, because we're going back in time, this was the Los Angeles Rams versus the Las Vegas Raiders. A matchup of two teams going nowhere, and so very inconsequential. I had it on in the background while I did other things until the end. And my question to you is, why do we need to book this for storyline purposes? Because it's like having an elaborate finish for a match between Keith Steinborn and the Italian Stallion.
Well, I don't know if there's really enhancement talent matches in the NFL. I mean, there is, but when you see something like this, it's like, oh, man. So you ask, why do we need to book a finish like that? Well, and we're just having fun, folks. Don't work yourself into a shoot. The reason you book a finish like that for Thursday Night Football is because it's prime time. And Thursday Night Football, some of the games haven't been all that great. There's been some pretty big snoozers, especially early in the year. And Amazon paid a lot of money to Uncle Raj's NFL for this package. So we got to, flip and dive and do all kind of bull crap to retain our audience as the season winds down. So I think that's your reason for the stupidity that you saw last night, where the Rams didn't do too much until the very end, kind of like what the Bucs did with the Saints just 4 days before. And it ended up being the exact same score. It played out the exact same way. Like,
so you're saying they just recycled a storyline. That's lazy booking.
Bro, they used it. I'm not going there. But they used the same. They had the same finish on, I said 4 days. They had the same finish 3 nights before. The same exact finish. And what made this one even more absurd is Jaworski's old spank bank, which he hates now because he went to Carolina and now he's with the Rams. They just signed Mayfield 2 days before the game. He's playing in the damn game, and he's the one that's hitting the freaking 450 somersault off the top rope, dropping the elbow so that the Rams can get the win. It was like, what the? I literally, somebody on Twitter, or one of the people I follow from with the Saints goes, he's not even a wrestling person. He said, we just saw this same finish 3 days ago. He literally called it a finish. And the dude's not even a wrestling fan.
It was.
And we're getting worked because we're here talking about it on our wrestling podcast. That's the irony of it all. To call it
for no reason. Baker Mayfield is a chump. He ain't ever going to do anything. The Rams won their 4th game of the season, deep into the season. They pretty much, I guess, eliminated the Raiders, which needed to happen anyway, that have been a colossal failure. The only idiots here are us because we watched it.
And talking about it now.
And talk about it. They give them a free plug here.
Yeah, we're the idiots.
we're fully aware of who the mark is in this scenario. Yeah.
We are the Mizarks here, man.
What I tell you, we were gonna record this morning. I said I don't know if I can fall asleep after this scorcher of a game.
Well, you
And
sent that right before they started hitting the flips and dives.
you know what though? It didn't matter that they hit the flips and dives because they were flipping and diving, and I was just laughing like, this is stupid. I don't care.
Oh,
It
man.
doesn't matter.
It was something, boy. It was something to see.
They just can't help themselves from putting their finger on the scale. That's the problem. That's the worrying part is just let the game run on this one. Let people think it's real for a second.
Oh, my God.
And Uncle Raj is like
crap.
my kid with a scab on his knee. Can't stop picking it.
We got a lot of meaningful football coming up, man. Like, you got the college playoffs
Save your
coming.
storylines for the pay-per-view.
Save. It's not only to save your storyline for the pay-per-view, it's to enhancement talents.
Right. And you're recycling the last story.
Oh, man.
And trying to call it new.
Last thing I'll say, we're the marks because we watched it and now we're talking about it.
Everybody's a mark for something.
Yeah, and we're freaking football marks, man. We hate watch the Ohio State Buckeyes, and we're the marks, bro.
Yeah, it's
we're
true.
The marks.
But hey, at least we can admit it.
Oh, well, everybody. I mean, that's the thing. Well, we've said this a million times over the years. Everybody's a mark for something. Hell, I'm a mark for our listeners. Thank you for supporting us.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
I will.
Okay.
We got some small fellas, man.
Look, I'm a mark for the patrons. How about that?
You're something. Oh, man. Before we get into Saturday night, which was a doozy, folks, let me just tell you, it was a doozy. You said you wanted me to remind you about a tweet that I sent out.
Yeah, so what's this deal where you can just not take a shower now and just put some perfume up your butt and then you're okay?
Bro.
That doesn't sound like that's Anyway, tell us what's going on and then I'll tell you what that sounds like. How about that?
Okay. So I'm watching TV a couple of months ago, actually, when I first saw this. There's a product called Lume, Lume, and it's got the little fancy squiggle above the E, I believe, so it's pronounced as or whatever. Yeah, I think it's a Lume. So the lady says, Lume will keep you fresh. Just take a little bit in the palm of your hand and you can put it in your butt cheeks, and even if you don't shower, you'll still be fresh for 48 hours. I was like, what? And this isn't verbatim. I ain't trying to get sued by Lume. Allegedly, this stuff, if you don't shower and you put it in your crevices, you won't stink. And on a scale of 1 to 10, or 0 to 10, actually, when you wear Lume, your stink level, or stank level, as I like to say, is 5 out of 10. But if you put the Lume on, it's 0 out of 10, meaning you won't stink at all. Now, I don't know if this stuff works or doesn't. I really don't care. It's not something I want to buy because if there's a shower available for me, I'm going to take one daily, sometimes twice a day. Now, I'm not Iron Mike Sharp where I'm, sitting in there for 2 hours, if you remember Sharp stories from back in the day. But I take me a shower because I like being clean. But this stuff, and I posted the link to the commercial for it. And I had people telling me, like Clifton Harris out there, buddy of mine from New Orleans, he's like, I thought that was a joke. He's like, I thought that was just a skit. I'm like, no, that's a real product. Jock, you got any thoughts about putting that on in your butt cheeks so that your butt cheeks don't smell after 24 hours? What the hell kind of chemical is in there killing the smell of ass sweat over 48 hours? Because even your deodorant, like, you know, you get to 24 hours and your deodorant from yesterday is on. It kind of like it starts to wear out, especially because I work out, so I'm sweating. Like, it'll wear off. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if this shit works after 48 hours, what kind of chemicals is in that crap?
Nobody thinks about the chemicals. Like, you buy clothes and there's dye on it. Nobody thinks about that kind of dumb shit. But I'm not trying to turn this into conspiracy. This is the kind of product that's great for college kids. You know, think about Axe body spray. I used to know guys that would wear that instead of taking a shower because, like, it covers it up. Fuck it.
Shit.
Now, I don't understand it because I'm a guy that I'm taking at least one shower a day, and I ain't earned my stripes.
That's what I'm saying.
I just feel more alert and awake and rub the eye boogers out to just be under some running water once a day.
Yeah.
I might take a second shower depending on when the first one happened and any exercise, activity, cardio that happens later in the day. I might take a second shower. I prefer to also go to bed relatively clean. I don't take a shower before bed, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I like being clean, bro.
So I'm not ever worried necessarily about getting caught with just outrageous ass stink that I can't take care of through normal methods of showering.
Did you click the link?
You know, some of these hookers out there were putting that shit on to go
God.
to the club and try to get some dick.
Oh, it's gross. Did you see the link that I posted after it?
You take some brought home and you peel off that dress and there's just
no, stop.
An onion wrapped in chemicals that just fills the room.
It's disgusting. Hey, it might work. I don't know. That's what they allege.
But it ain't clean. It's covering. It's like a litter box. You just sprinkling some gravel over the doo-doo. The doo-doo's still there.
It's counteracting the odor, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but it ain't cleaning nothing.
That's a great point. It's Yeah. Well, and you know, well, to be fair, they don't say it's cleaning anything. They just say,
I don't care what claims they're making. I know what I want to have happen if I come across it.
I agree. But that's what I'm saying. They're not saying it's cleaning anything. It just says it'll smell fresh.
Well, if you ain't getting down to the business, what does it matter?
Bro, this woman said on that ad,
I ain't getting close enough to any other human to smell their ass unless we're about to get after it. And if your ass smells that bad, you need to go find the shower.
Yeah, I mean, you ain't gonna hear no argument from me, man.
Man, just take a shower when you're done. Use a little baby powder to make, because in this part of the world, there is a serious issue with that because it's humid. Where you came from was even worse. You just walking around, you can get onion crotch. You don't want to just do nothing, but go get you some powder, put it down there to help keep it dry, and go on with your day.
Yeah.
What's the problem? We're trying to solve problems that already have remedies and in the wrong way. This is just gross. If your ass, here's the other thing. If your ass is a 5 out of 10, get your ass in some showers. You're trending in the wrong direction. Naturally, you need to do something about that. I mean, seriously, if you walked in to the bathroom and saw Sasha running a stick of secret up her ass crack because she thought it smelled, you'd be like, we have a shower right there.
Probably, pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. Yep. Oh God.
People are nasty, dude. And you got to think about this. You know, you and I have been domesticated house pets for a long, long time now. But back in the day when we were out there roaming around, just the nasty creatures, the just filthy slee stacks that we ran across, and the desperation that we probably had to overlook some serious flaws, personality, hygienics, whatever.
I mean,
Fellas, look out. These women are gross.
I guess there may be a market for it. You know, you're in the military, you don't get to get a shower because you're overseas and you're at war. I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of something, but it's just one of those things. I was like, oh, this is not something I wanted to do.
Man, you rip off some girl's britches and you like catch a whiff. You're like, this to finish? Come
on. Harper and you would still go at it.
Who?
Harper and you would still
Why?
take a turn. Because you need relief. On that note,
let me go grab my clothespin so that I can cover up my nostrils.
On that note, Doc, let's talk about some Saturday Night on TBS.
I don't want to. This show sucked. How about that? I'm mad still from last week.
Well,
I promise that I won't be salty until Flair comes back. I'll get over it. But I need some healing time, and they're not helping me out.
Well, the show starts from July 13th of 1991 with a replay of Mr. Personality Jim Herd letting us know again that Ric Flair has been stripped of the world title because they could not come to a new contract agreement. And I believe this show is once again from Macon, Georgia. We then go to the introduction with Paul Lee and Jim Ross. They're calling the action, and they do remind us that Barry will battle Lex Luger for the title tomorrow night at the pay-per-view. And then we pretty much immediately head to the ring because this is a 55-minute episode of World Championship Wrestling Saturday Night on TBS. Doc, anything from the intro before I go to the opening match?
No Flair, week 2.
No Flair, week 2, right. So then we go to the opening match. It's going to be Johnny B. Bad versus Johnny Rich. I guess I'll ask you, Doc, besides the obvious here, what would you happen to have from this one?
I can't see Teddy's character being gay friendly.
You mean just as Johnny's manager?
Yeah.
Why do you say that? Oh, just because he's like supposedly like this dude from the hood, as he said he said that when he had Butch Reed and Ron Simmons. If you just are new to this show and you made it this far past the non-wrestling talk, he would talk about being from the hood. Is that why you're kind of making that assumption?
Yeah. I need some audio though on at the 550 mark.
550.
For Paul Lee deciding to spit some bars.
I'm going to it. I kind of see what you're saying though about Teddy when you say that. You're not saying Teddy. You're like you said, Teddy's character.
You think about all those brothers you knew back in the hood. Like, look, I don't give a shit, but don't bring that gay shit around me.
Oh my God.
You heard that before?
Oh, like damn near verbatim.
Yeah.
Like they were. I won't say they. You had folks who were like extremely homophobic.
Right.
And I always had a philosophy behind that too. Like as I got older, I started to think some of them dudes, I think they might have been, and that was their way of like trying to like
cover it up.
Yeah. Which is sad, but I mean, it was the 80s. So like,
right. Different times.
Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to say they were right to do it that way. I'm saying
it is what it is.
Yeah, it was what it was back then. But right, I hear you.
Speaking of misappropriations,
let's get
Paul Lee on the stick on the rock a microphone.
Yeah, here it is. I have no clue. I don't have a note about this, so let me see what he says.
Okay.
Go ahead, Paul. All right, hey, he happened to give me this. He's going to release this on his album for Christmas. This is what he said. He said he's PN News and he raps all the time, but the funny thing about it is his raps don't rhyme. But give the guy credit, he tries real hard. Hey, it's funny being witty when you're a fat tub of lard. Hey, isn't that brilliant?
Oh, yeah, that's Einstein-like.
Oh, you saying the guy can't sing now?
I've never heard him sing.
Well, he's a bad man. He doesn't want you to hear him sing. He wants you to watch him wrestle, and selected people like me, I can hear him sing.
I'm sure he and you have a lot in common. Whoa, slap right there. Fans, the tickets are still available for the Great American Bash.
So just to be clear, now that I'm hearing it, I remember it. He's quoting a rhyme or a rap that Johnny B. Bad came up with. Correct, Doc?
Yeah.
For PN News, because they're kind of in this feud. Yeah. Paulie rapping is funny.
Better than PN News.
You know what? I didn't think about it till now, but that's pretty freaking true.
So I was thinking about this. We need to get Davey Rich in, and we need a Party Patrol State Patrol feud.
It ain't the worst thing you could do.
The Patrols.
And for those who don't know, the Party Patrol, Johnny and Davey Rich, were a tag team, and not just Smoky Mountain, but I'm going to reference Smoky Mountain because we talked about them during our Smoky Mountain wrestling recaps back in the day.
At least it would get the State Patrol back together and not having Black Bart hanging out with him.
Yeah, the guy who's been in vignettes with the Desperados.
Yeah.
For a month before tagging with
right.
Johnny B. Bad does win. He hits a high knee on Johnny Rich, and then he hits him with the knockout punch, and Rich takes the bump, and Johnny wins. Any other thoughts on the match, Doc, as he puts the kiss on his face?
No, not really.
All right. Well, I do want to go to this promo from Johnny at the end of the match. You ever notice? I just realized it. Johnny doesn't give chin nuts like Garvin used to. He gives ass crack to the guys.
Booty cheeks.
He gives booty cheeks. That's actually perfect. I think about it for the gimmick. All right, let's go to.
I wouldn't know. I can't say.
I mean, he's putting his ass in this dude's face as he pins him. So not really. He's sitting on the chest, but you get it, folks. All right, let's go now to Johnny B. Bad, Teddy Long. They got a promo they're going to cut, a short one after the match that Johnny B. Bad just won.
All right, Paul, thank you very much. Of course, Johnny B. Bad involved in that big bounty match for the mask with the Yellow Dog at the Great American Bash. But with all the recent happenings in WCW, I'd like to have a prediction from you gentlemen regarding the heavyweight championship matchup. Who do you think's going to win it, Johnny B. Bad, Lex Luger, or Barry Windham?
Oh, hush, Jimmy. Let me say one thing. Lex Luger's a big old strong boy with some big old muscles. Ooh.
And he's almost pretty new, ain't he?
He's almost as pretty as Johnny B. Bad. But let me tell you, Barry Windham is definitely the more exceptional wrestler. I pick Barry Windham to win the World Heavyweight Champion. But I feel sorry for whoever wins, because then they got to deal with the baddest man and the prettiest man of World Championship Wrestling.
And who is that?
Johnny B. Bad!
Tell him who you are!
Woo! I'm a bad man! I'm a bad man!
Now everybody want to know what up? Well, the Great American Bash, the Godfather and Johnny B. Bad gonna get more money when we take that mask off and let everybody know that Brian Pillman is a yellow dog.
Fans, we'll be back with more on WCW right after this.
Bro, you can hate Johnny B. Bad all you want. This is tremendous. He is putting his entire soul into this gimmick.
I'll tell you what I don't like about it. He and DDP have the same problem being green.
What's that?
Crutch phrases that they use out of context.
DDP like ain't that green though right here.
Huh?
This time. DDP's not that green right here.
Whatever.
Okay.
When he says, "Oh, hush, Jimmy," or Jay or whatever, there's no reason for him to say that. If he had just not said that phrase at the beginning, his promo would have been exponentially better. How about that?
I think he's taken guidance from Dusty, and everything you see is that. He's doing
then
exactly
Dusty's
as
wrong
Dusty
too. How
wants.
about that?
I'm not saying. I'm just pointing it
Where's
out.
the bull drop in?
Thankfully, it's gone.
Oh, that was quick.
You mean you needed more of Jason Hervey?
No, I'm just saying we don't stick with anything or have a reason for anything
Bro,
we do.
that Jason Hervey stuff when the bull drops in, like, that dude had the RVD pose and had nuclear go away heat.
I love it.
Did you also love? You saw? I don't know if you saw it. Well, no, you wouldn't have seen it because you're not on it. I posted the clip on. Well, you might have seen it on Twitter, but I posted the clip of Hervey getting just slapped the dog shit out of in the head with the phone.
I would imagine that would turn our entire fan base into a bunch of Jaworskis in like an instant.
Which is a compliment, not to Jaworski.
Yeah, everybody's just relieving themselves to Hervey getting cracked over the head.
I totally agree. Yeah. Yep. I thought Johnny B. Bad there and Teddy Long were tremendous. He's putting his entire soul into this gimmick. It's unreal. We go then to Nikita Koloff versus a gentleman by the name of Chad Floyd. We get a picture-in-picture from Sting as the match is starting. Sting is still talking about the little kid that Nikita intimidated, and Sting says, Nikita, you think you're tough, but I can't be intimidated. I know Doc just he started cranking at that moment because he loves him some Sting. It was a picture-in-picture, so it was, real short, maybe 10 seconds at the most. Nikita does end up winning this thing. He hits Floyd with the Russian sickle, and he gets the win. Doc, what did you have from this, if anything?
It was real quiet when Nikita came out. I was a little surprised by that.
Especially in Macon, Georgia.
Yeah. The other thing that I was wondering, I want to know what Nikita thinks about 1991 wrestling versus 1987 wrestling or 86. Because I think like the old timers would see it's different. What does he think? Because he wasn't an old timer, but he was around for that previous era. Like, are we on the right track here? Oh boy, this ain't how it used to be. I don't know, because he's a different animal.
Oh, he's got to be thinking this is different.
Okay.
I mean, because he was around for those heydays in those old Crockett towns, and he lived that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to be thinking, boy, this ain't like it was.
Okay, I agree.
I mean, remember when he was up there with Uncle Ivan, and I mean, it was just Ivan was so good on those promos. He's gonna hang Nikita up old country way when Nikita turned. Oh man. All right, Nikita wins. Well, after Nikita wins, we go to the Great American Bash Control Center where Harper's got heat and he's not even watching it here. He hates this. He gets, this works him into a shoot. Would you agree?
Almost more than. There's only one other thing that I've legitimately believed that I've heard has worked him into a bigger shoot, and that was the lack of advertising on the ring aprons a few years ago.
He would bring that up nonstop. Like he had a marketing degree from one of the most prestigious universities in the world.
Like he had points on it.
Right.
I get a commission if they put the apron out.
Yeah. So we get the GAB Control Center with Paul Lee, and he runs down the entire card that is happening with that wonderful scaffold match that we're going to see with Terry Taylor and Austin. And PN News and Bobby Eaton. Can't wait for that barn burner of a match. Oh, my God. PN News Jr. over there is watching this going, yeah, I can't wait. Black Blood's supposed to take on Big Josh. Johnny B. Bad and the Yellow Dog. A bunch of other stuff. And, of course, we got Luger versus Barry Windham for the world title with the departure of Ric Flair. Lots of stuff going on here. The Z-Man is supposed to take on the Diamond Stud. Oz is supposed to make an appearance. Richard Morton versus Robert Gibson. Hey, and the only place you can hear us with Hardbody Harper break this all down is on Patreon at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Gonna be...
Whoa.
What?
I want to hear Gibson's, not Morton's, but Gibson's promo.
Okay. I'll play it as soon as we get to it. I was going to say, don't forget, Harper will be with us at the pay-per-view, or he is supposed to be with us.
Yeah,
at
well,
the
you can't
pay-per-view.
say that this far out. Shit, you can't say it the day of.
Very true.
We're recording that 4 days from now. That's fucking 4 years in Harper time.
Let's tell the people too, right before I play the Gibson promo. When we finished recording a few nights ago, which is the last Saturday night you listened to, so a week ago from now, when we finished recording that episode with Harper, we told them what the plan was. We're gonna have to record it late. We got some things going on that evening, and we said, I literally asked Harper, "Hey, can you do it? We're gonna be recording late." He said yes. I said, "Okay. When do you want me to remind you to watch it?" Now, it's not like we record any other day, generally, at least with him. It's always on a certain day. And he says, remind me on Sunday. Okay.
Yeah.
He needs a reminder to watch the pay-per-view.
Bro, I got something for you here that just happened.
Oh, Jesus.
I just picked up my phone and checked my junk mail.
Mm-hmm.
16 minutes ago, I got a junk mail email from Lume Deodorant.
Go ahead and tell me these devices ain't listening.
Bruh. Think about that the next time you're fucking whipping it, for relief, or you got some old broad on all fours.
Jesus Christ.
I ain't been to their website. I ain't Googled nothing. I ain't done nothing but talk about it.
If you're just watching the video or listening to the video version of this on Patreon, we had a long discussion about that product before we got into the wrestling this week. Damn. All right. That's spooky, but now we'll go to Gibson's promo. This is following Ricky Morton, who cuts a promo, he says, people would ask why my back hurt, and it's because I carried you nonstop, Gibson. So let's hear Gibson's retort to that when Ricky Morton says he's the real reason they were the champions and his back was hurting from carrying Gibson. Here it is.
Ricky Morton, this Sunday night at the Great American Bash match is going to take place between me and you, something I thought would never happen, guys. Let me tell you something. After the class, you pile drive me, you sucker punch me, boy. This Sunday night's going to be me and you one-on-one, guy, and you better be ready.
Okay.
That was the clearest, most coherent promo I've ever heard him do. Good job.
All right.
I'm serious.
Not necessarily talk him into the building, but it was clear. It definitely was clear.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we continue after that, and we're going to go now to a quick promo from Barry Windham, and he's got to cut a promo on Luger, and I got to play it. It's short, but I want to play it because I think he's dropping some truth bombs here. Here it is.
Total package Lex Luger.
The World Heavyweight Championship is something that every professional wrestler at WCW wants for his very own. I've got a chance that I haven't had in 4 years. Luger, you've had your chance on many occasions. And the World Heavyweight Championship is something that I want and that I believe should be mine. And I know that you feel the very same way. Something that has never happened in professional wrestling before, a world title was held up. And two men, the very best that WCW has to offer, are going heads up for the World Heavyweight Championship. So this Sunday on pay-per-view, Mr. Luger, when you step into the ring with me, be prepared for the battle of your life. Because I am not going to turn my back on you for 1 second. Because I believe that I am the next heavyweight champion of the world, and I'm going to prove it to you.
I thought Barry was speaking some truth there. Luger has had a bunch of chances already. Like, he's the one who's gotten a lot of title matches. I don't know, man. They should have just had Flair. Well, I mean, Flair's idea was fine. Should have dropped it to Barry. And then Barry, if Luger's going to get it, then Luger can win it.
Hey, if we're going to go so far as to fire Flair, we're probably not going to listen to him on the way out.
Well, of course not. Yeah, that ain't happening. That's definitely not happening.
How many common sense ideas you heard the workers come up with in the world and out in the shoot jobs, and the manager don't like it because it ain't their idea?
Millions.
All of them.
Millions. All right. Well, we'll keep moving. Did you have any other thoughts though before we move along?
No, I'm ready for this bash. I watched a couple of matches last night to get started. We'll save my thoughts on those for pay-per-view and the patrons. But yeah, I've started it.
All right. So the next match we go to from the Hardliners Collection Agency, Dick Murdoch and
I need to go
Dick
back
Slater.
just a second.
Yeah.
21-29, please.
I'm not going back to the relief commercial.
21-29.
Okay. I'm trying to get there. This thing is acting crazy. Fast relief.
Well, we have a new saying.
I'm waiting.
Okay, there it is.
There's no law against fast relief.
Because there's no law against fast relief.
Oh man. Okay.
Sometimes you don't need it doesn't need to take all day. You just stroke to the two poots.
No pun intended, but I think we've beat the relief thing to death. We've choked that chicken as far as it needs to be choked. All right. Again, we go to the hard.
If their marketing department comes up with the new tagline, I'll let you know.
I guarantee you, we are selling Alka-Seltzer right now.
I like Alka-Seltzer when I have a cold,
but not when you need relief
from a cold.
Fast relief.
What do you want me to do? Drop 2 effervescent tablets in a glass of water and then start thrusting in it? I don't think that's going to work. It's not a jar of mayonnaise.
All right, let me keep going. Next match, again, is the Hardliners Collection Agency. Dick Murdoch and Dick Slater versus Johnny Meadows and Jackie Fulton. We did get a picture from Rick Steiner there talking about the Hardliners since they hurt Scott. I don't know. I don't have too much from this one. This show's moving along real quick because, again, it's less than an hour. Doc, you got anything from this matchup?
On the way to the ring, Murdoch ripped up a kid's Steiner poster.
You sure did. He probably terrified that poor kid, too. That poor kid jumped out of his seat when that happened.
During this match, Paulie said that Hervey spent all of his allowance on Missy's recent tummy tuck.
Paul is stiff.
It's funny because the allowance. That's funny.
That's funny, but he's stiff, dude. I mean, he's been making fun of Missy like he's bringing his plastic surgery thing up a bunch of times. He's mentioned it several times about it. He's stiff, dude. He's really working stiff.
Good.
All right. Well, as far as the match goes, Slater does take down Meadows, gets him in an armbar, and makes him submit. And the Hardliners Collection Agency, Dick Murdoch and Dick Slater, who don't appear too drunk here, get the win. Any other thoughts, Doc?
Not a one.
Well, guess what's next?
A bunch of crap.
We get Firebreaker Chip and Champion again telling us not to do drugs.
Oh, wow. What a great message.
The firemen and the military men. And I ain't got nothing else from that. Harper would be cursing somebody out at this moment.
It's just stupid.
Yeah. All right.
They look as uncomfortable as, I don't know. Just they're not putting to reiterate your point. They're not putting the same oomph in it that Johnny B. Bad is.
Oh, he's all in. Johnny B. Bad. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can say what you want about hating the gimmick, being dumb, all that good stuff, but Johnny B. Bad is all in on the gimmick.
Okay.
These guys, the Firebreaker Chip, and it's nah. We did get a replay as we go to the next segment of Jim Herd mentioning Luger is going to take on Wyndham for the world title, and then we go to the Danger Zone. Paul Lee is in the ring with Lex Luger.
Wait. I thought that was canceled.
What was canceled?
The Danger Zone.
Apparently, it's not.
We don't stick with a goddamn thing.
No, continuity was not WCW's strong point.
Or even considered.
Yeah. Why have continuity? Let's go now to the...
what the fuck?
It was canceled.
Let's just insult our audience at every turn. Sweet.
Nobody was paying attention to that back then. Let's go to the Danger Zone.
You're going to walk down that aisle at the Great American Bash. You're going to enter a steel cage. Your opponent will be Barry Windham. The two of you will both walk in as contenders, and one of you will emerge as the heavyweight champion of the world. The names may change, the course of an event may change, but an event remains the same. What this is all about is the World Heavyweight title. The names could have been Steve Austin, Nikita Koloff, Sting, the Steiner brothers, any other opponent. Barry Windham is a worthy contender. He's a number 2 ranking. I respect that. He's got the background, he's got the talent, he's got the credentials. He deserves to be there. But make no mistake about this. My drive, my energy, my ambition, what I have in mind, my training is focused on one thing and one thing only. That is to be the world's heavyweight champion. That remains unchanged. Now, Barry Windham, keep this in mind. One thing remains constant. A new era is dawning in WCW. And it is the era of the total package. Lex Luger. Tomorrow night, exclusively on pay-per-view, the total package Lex Luger versus Barry Windham in a cage. One man will emerge as the heavyweight champion of the world, and we'll be back right after this.
Okay, Doc, what do you think about this being a good final promo before we head to the Great American Bash from Luger?
It's good. There's no problem with what Barry and Lex are trying to do to make this thing, pull this thing out of the ditch. They've been handed an impossible task.
Yeah. It's like
good for them to do what they're doing.
Yeah, they've had the rug pulled out from under them, and now they need to go salvage it, which is what sucks about what happens at the main event with, the Flair chants and things like that. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Okay. Any other thoughts? I thought Luger was good there. I thought he was real good. Called Windham a deserving competitor. I just thought he was real good there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have a Great American Bash promo, and then we come back from commercial, and we've got Elegante versus Keith Steinborn. We get a picture-in-picture from Sullivan and the one-man gang, and Gang and Sullivan definitely seem like they're nuts and crazy, and, Gang's going to beat Elegante, and, I just
at
can't
some point in this match, El Gigante wooed like Rick.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
39.50, please.
Well, here it comes. You want audio from it?
Nope.
Okay, here it is.
Kills this fella.
I don't know what that was supposed to be.
That look good to you?
It looked like it was supposed to be a backdrop.
Call it if you can. Hey, I'd call that if you can.
It would look like it was supposed to be a backdrop.
That was a shitty clothesline to follow up.
He didn't almost kill him. Steinborn got over.
But there's so much room for error in this guy. This guy's gonna hurt somebody.
He's just terrible.
He's awful.
He's just not good in the ring at all. No other way to say it. He's not good. Yeah, I got nothing else from this, Doc. This is not good. This is horrendous. But
hey, at least we got rid of that pesky Flair character.
And I don't know how much we talked about this when we talked about it last week, but I know Flair probably was pretty damn difficult to deal with. Would you agree with that?
Who cares if he is?
Well, the point being is he was difficult to deal with. The other thing I thought of after we recorded that was, you know, the old saying, how can we miss you if you don't go away? Well, I think it would have been a much better use of money, as they're not making money during this time period. Just pay him and send him home for a year. We'll bring you back.
Okay.
Just go home for a year. I don't know. It's just, like, I agree, how can we miss you if you don't go away? But
to me, if you really want to pass the torch, let Sting and Luger fight over it with Flair out of the way, and then Flair comes back and tries to get back on top. And if you're going to move on from Flair, Flair can't reach the mountain, and now it's Sting and Luger's.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got no problem with that. I just don't, like, I think there is something to, I think you might have hit on this a little. I think there is something to Flair being difficult, but the problem is you can't, even if Flair's being difficult, you cannot, none of us.
You think he was harder to do business? You think he was harder to do business with than Hogan was up north at this point?
Well, that's the point I'm about to get to. Not even thinking about Hogan and doing it has nothing to do with the talent. The problem is the constant denominator, which is Jim Herd.
That's right.
Like, so yes, I think Flair was a pain to deal with, because I keep thinking about it, like, well, Flair could have been difficult, you know, because you even talked about, oh, Flair, you know, Flair had to be difficult to deal with. But we have all worked for people like Jim Herd, and dear God, even some of your worst enemies at the shoot job had to tolerate the same idiot like a Jim Herd as you at the same time. So it's like, it's hard to get past that part of it with Jim Herd, especially as we all talked about. Me, you, and Harper were like, nobody respected this man.
Mm-mm.
So anyway. Okay, well, Doc, after El Gigante wins in a very uneventful match, there was some commercials, and then we go to the main event of the show. It's a bounty match for the mask, as told by Gary Michael Capetta on the ring announcer, or doing ring announcing. We got the Yellow Dog and Bobby Eaton and Ron Simmons, 6-man tag, versus Arn Anderson, Larry Zbyszko, and Steve Austin. So the bounty match for the mask. We're trying to get the mask off of the Yellow Dog so we can find out who he is. What do you have from really 6 really good dudes in the ring here, man? Kind of just thrown together.
I don't hate it.
I don't either.
Getting these guys out there on the go home show is not a bad idea. And if you need to do it with having it be a bounty match, that's okay. I'm not going to. That's not my biggest concern.
Yeah.
Well, my biggest concern is they keep bringing up Rick during commentary on this match.
Yeah, you said that last week. You were like,
and
they don't stop talking
again.
about it. Yeah,
now, can you get me 50-44? Because apparently I wrote down Paulie's being dirty again.
Gee, imagine that.
50-40.
You said 50-44?
Yeah.
All right. Let's start from here. We're at 50-40.
The quiet man from Huntsville, Alabama, being silenced here by his opponents. And there's a Yellow Dog.
Why don't you have beautiful Bobby on your radio show one night? You can say, Bobby, what's it like being from Huntsville? He can say, blah, 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 blah. Never takes the marbles out of his mouth before he talks. You ever notice
Standing
that?
vertical suplex by Larry Zbyszko. He went for a near fall. Beautiful Bobby in a great deal of trouble here. And a tag is made. Here comes the television champion. And a right hand.
JR was like, I'm not selling this, you fucking moron.
He no-sold it perfect.
That's a great timestamp. I didn't have that one written down.
That's how you no-sell.
Oh, my God. JR didn't blink. He
didn't. That's a professional.
Right through it.
I'm going to ignore this fucker until somebody has the good sense to fire him.
Oh my God, that's great.
So we
Oh
get to
my
the end of
God.
the match, Shenanigans, and they get the mask off.
Yeah.
And guess what? He's got another mask on, which is fine too. I don't agree that the yellow dog's a good idea, but if we're doing it, that's okay.
I agree. So the
And
finish
this
is.
match,
Oh, go ahead.
This match is single-handedly gonna save this episode from being an F.
Yeah, and the crowd was into it. It was.
Yeah, they were. They
Yeah,
were.
they liked it.
Yeah.
So the finish is.
And it doesn't matter what happens in this match because this is the primer for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, and like I said, the crowd's into it. They're fired up. They enjoyed the action as it broke down. The finish, you get a double bump with Bobby and Arn as they collide in the middle of the ring. Eaton then makes the hot tag. Simmons and Yellow Dog come in. JR says, I don't even know who the legal man is here. Zbyszko, as you can see on the video version, tinyurl.com/PatreonBT, he ripped off, like Doc said, Yellow Dog's mask. But Yellow Dog has a white mask underneath the yellow one. So Yellow Dog then schoolboys Zbyszko, as Zbyszko's celebrating with the mask because he thinks, hey, I unmasked him. And he pins Larry Zbyszko. Zbyszko did great selling that. So Yellow Dog, Eaton, and Simmons win by pin. And we're out of time as the episode closes out. Like you said, this was good. Not the greatest match in the world, but very exciting. Folks were into it. So really, really good stuff here. Any other thoughts on the main event here and how it all went down?
No, let's get to the pay-per-view.
So we got to rate it and hand out some Rolexes before we do so. Just a quick reminder, the only way you can listen to our pay-per-view breakdown of the Great American Bash, which will air the day after or drop the day after this show drops, is by going to tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. That's tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Not only will you get the Bash, you'll get all the clashes we've done, which are 15 of them up until this point, all the WCW pay-per-views we've done, through 1991, this point that we're at now, the ECW shows, NWA Power shows. And again, something that I'm very proud of now, our Tales from the Territory reviews and recaps, which have been a tremendous fun. You'll get all that on Patreon. Over 300 exclusive Patreon episodes at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. All right, Doc. So let's rate it and hand out these Rolexes. You just said this match was going to save it for you. So what are you rating it?
Trying to be fair here.
Got that right.
I'm stuck between two things. And I feel like one is going to make it seem like I'm too harsh, and one's going to make it seem like I'm too nice.
Okay.
And since I never want to be thought of as too nice, I'm going to go with being too mean. And I'm going to say D+.
Oh, man. I'm not going that low. I give it a C. Here's the one thing you got to realize as we're closing this out. We are at like minute number 37 of the review portion of this show, and we're done talking about Saturday Night, which means it did not take us a lot of time on a short week to get this watched and then recorded. That in itself is gets a little bump, so to say.
I'd prefer to enjoy the time, though.
It wasn't horrible, and it was short. So I'm going to give it a C. Now, who are you giving your Rolex to?
JR for no selling that at the end.
That was tremendous.
That's how it's done,
really
brother.
Good. That was really excellent. So that's cool. You're going to give yours to JR. I am going to give mine to... I'm going to give mine to Luger. It's from the Danger Zone. Was it great? No. It was solid. Called Wyndham a deserving champion. But Lex says, I got more drive, energy, and ambition, and I'm going to become the next world champion.
There you go.
Short and sweet and to the point. So there it is. Okay. So, Doc, what else? Man, we're like barely over an hour right now.
That's all right. We don't have to sit on here and do a bunch of dives and stuff. We told the story that needed to be told.
That is so true. Unlike the NFL these days.
So let's just wrap up by saying, I hope
Merry
everybody
Christmas.
takes what?
I said we got Merry Christmas on our heels.
That's what I'm saying is, I hope everybody takes care of everybody this holiday season. Reach out, have a good time all the time. Get that Pennsylvania Dutch down your throats. Give her a little something in the stocking, if you know what I mean. We're coming up on the end of another calendar year.
Yeah, you know how we're going to celebrate it?
Maybe next week, instead of doing a show, we could just do a year-end wrap-up.
No.
Best of.
You know how so here's what I'm going to do for the club. So for patrons, if you're a current month-to-month patron or you're not a patron at all, if you go annual, you'll get 2 months for free.
Jesus.
Which is 18% off the price of admission. So if you go annual, that offer is going to be good through the 30th.
God,
so
that's
from
too
the time
nice.
this drops, you got a week and 1 day from the time this drops where you'll get 2 months for free. It's the annual pre-Christmas and post-Christmas Merry Christmas to whether you're a new annual patron or a current month-to-month who goes annual patron. There you go. Special. And look, this is dropping before Christmas. Why don't you give yourself, you know how these women say, I deserve something, like, when they're buying themselves a gift. Give yourself the gift of BTT Patreon, because your woman, whatever you're married to, whatever you lay down with, they never give you what you really want. So go ahead and gift yourself something special and give our Patreon to you at tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. And before I get out of here, don't forget, Hardbody Harper is still cutting those promos and giving video shout outs. All you got to do is email him, ChrisHarper16 Wildcat with a K at gmail.com. That's ChrisHarper16 Wildcat with a K at gmail.com. Tell him what you want in your video shout out, your relationship advice, whatever it may be. And then more importantly, when you email him and you're being very specific about that, PayPal him to cc30388 cc at yahoo.com. That's cc30388 cc at yahoo.com. Both of the email and the PayPal are in the show description. All you got to do is look at the show notes and you can see it in case you missed it. Hook Harper up this Christmas. Make his Christmas a merry one as well. Shout out to Our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast with Joe Murata and Michael Quinn, the northern version of BTT. Merry Christmas to them. Slightly classier, definitely more professional, but still fun nonetheless. They support us. Please support them. And check out the Bottom Line Cast with Mike Prue and JV. They take care of our ECW show on the Patreon feed. And they also do a show on the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin, so check them out. Doc, on that particular note, I think we're done here for this week. Merry Christmas, everyone. Do you have anything else before we get out of here, Doc?
Man, I don't think so. I've said everything I need to say. I feel good about myself, unlike this WCW product. So I think I'm ready to roll.
Hit the tagline, Bubba.
I hope you have a Merry Christmas when you book it, bitch.